Carver debut, excuse me.
Abe, Spencer Lee had mentioned that it's actually hard to wrestle at home in Carver, just because of the enormity. What was it like for you, and was it hard?
Yeah, I think at first it's kind of hard to just like wrap your head around, like, you know, like how big it actually is. You know, when you walk out there and there's no one out there, is a huge difference than when you see, you know, what was it, 12,000 people today standing up cheering. So actually, what helped me was right after weigh-ins, Tom brought me into his office, and me and him just like kind of just did our walk down to the arena, and I kind of told him to go out onto the mat and kind of just stand there, because there was already some people pouring in, and it was just nice kind of just like, you know, see the atmosphere, you see how big the mat is, you know, just everything, how it's gonna feel. So that helped me a lot. So yeah, just, you know, you gotta, you know, just take it step by step and just like, you know, cherish the moment.
What do you hear, especially in a close match like you had, that you actually won at the end?
Yeah.
What's the feeling?
It's indescribable. I can't really, you know, put into words exactly. What kind of my favorite moment from the whole match was I think it was end of the second period. I got that takedown, and I had that huge mat return on the edge of the mat, and I returned him, and he just stuck to the mat, you know, didn't move, and I just heard the crowd, and it was awesome. You know, there's nothing better than that. That's what put in all those hours for, you know, in the practice room for moments just like that. So it's awesome. I love it.
Could you kind of feel, not that the match was over at that point, but could you maybe feel it turn a little bit?
Yeah, oh, that for sure. I felt like that mat return was definitely a turning point. And after that, I felt he kind of, you know, the fight he was still fighting, obviously, but the fight was kind of lessened and weakened. So for sure.
What was it like standing up afterwards? And I mean, like you said, 12,000 plus. Just
yeah, it was awesome, man. I kind of cherished it. You know, took my ankle bands off pretty slow, kind of just let it all sink in, because, you know, I mean, hopefully you get a lot of those moments, right? But you know, you only get so many. You know, I'm only here for 4 or 5 years, you know, and then it's done for. I mean, we were actually in the car today. Me and Ken were going to breakfast, and we were talking about like how like college versus like the world stage, and like the world stage, like you don't even get like a quarter as many fans, you know, in like the world finals. You know, it's the biggest, you know, tournament in the world, and you know, you come into college and the atmosphere is unreal. You know, all these, you know, we got Ohio State next week, it's gonna be just as crazy, and Penn State already sold out, you know, so it's awesome. There's nothing like it.
This is less than a year after being in high school. Does it feel like a dream?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, a dream's kind of a good way to describe it. I feel like when you're younger, you know, coming up wrestling, the biggest thing is, I feel like even if you don't, you know, say it, you know, once in your lifetime when you're a young wrestler, you're like, I want to wrestle in Carver. You know, it is the biggest stage in college wrestling, besides the finals, obviously. But everyone wants to be an hour wrestler at some point in their life, you know, and I had that same feeling for a long, long time. And so it's definitely surreal, you know, coming in here and wrestling. But it was fun, and, you know, I had an amazing time, and I can't wait for next week, week after that.
What was the message when you were activated off the red shirt?
Like what Tom said?
Yeah, what Tom said to you?
Yeah,
did he give you a reason why?
He I mean, he told me, he didn't, you know, like give me like bullet point reasons of why I'm wrestling, you know, Cash and Nelson aren't, but he just told me, you know, he felt like, you know, overall wrestling, he felt like maybe I was the better option long term, you know, some injuries and stuff, and he felt, you know, like he just really likes my style. I think I'm pretty calm when I go out there, you know. That's kind of what I pride myself on, just being calm and just, you know, not getting ahead of myself in any situation in the match. And that showed today too. You know, I was down beginning of the match. You know, I pulled a big move out, didn't go my way, but you know, I kept wrestling.
But this year you expected a red shirt, correct?
Yeah. So I actually, I mean, I told a lot of people this, but I got the call actually on the bus right up to Indiana and Purdue, that duel. That's when Tom called my dad, and then we talked it out on the bus, and that's when I got the first news.
Did you just feel that headlock, or what was?
It's one of those. It's one of those things where, like, I don't set it up. It's like you'd have to wrestle. I mean, some of you guys probably wrestled before. You know, sometimes it's just like it's an instinct. You don't even think about it. You just hit it. You know, and that was kind of one of those things. Sometimes I know like that exact spot where I can hit it, and I just kind of let it rip. And you know, I rolled me through on it, but I know the fans liked it. You know, got them on their feet. It's always fun.
What's that feeling like when it just naturally comes to you like that? Is there an extra like mojo you kind of get out of it?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I feel like sometimes I feel like when I hit that, it kind of is just like, it's me opening up, you know, it's my body like, oh, here we go, you know, here it is. So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to hit that at the beginning of every match, you know, but, you know, who knows, maybe, watch out. No, yeah, it's definitely kind of one of those things, you know, I feel like after that first, you know, like, I don't know, break-in period, you know, that's kind of, I hate to put it that way, but sometimes it's like that in matches, especially big matches. After that first period, break-in period, you know, you kind of get loose, and then once I start feeling them out, you know, sometimes it just clicks.
What's the progression?
Last one, guys.
what's the progression like now over the next month and a half for you to really get in shape and prep yourself?
You know, it's just like I've said a lot, just still like strengthening my mind. You know, I feel like my wrestling's making a lot of progress, and so is my, you know, my mental strength, my mental strength, or mental toughness mental toughness. I feel like that I still can improve a lot on that. You know, I've been working with Terry a lot on that. He's been a big help, just you know, strengthening my mind. You know, even like before the match, kind of came out to me before I walked out. He kind of just came out to me, pointing to his head. You know, just, you know, stay in your head, keep wrestling. So I think just strengthen my mind these next couple months, and just obviously still practicing, working hard in the room with all the coaches, and you know, good things will happen if I keep working hard.
Okay, thanks, Abe.